Welcome again. We're going to be continuing in this series that we started talking about doing a due diligence on yourself. You want to attract investors, you want to bring investors on board to your business, whether debt or equity investment, but you want to assess yourself first before you put yourself out there. You know, the way you're going out to a party and first go to the mirror to check yourself out to see if you look all right, if the makeup is in the right proportion, if your hair is well done and all that. The same way, before you start advertising yourself in front of investors, you want to at least do the basics. Check yourself out. The good thing about that is it does two things. One, it helps you to be retrospective about your business, because everything the investor is asking from you, they're actually things that are predictors of success. They are going to help your business to grow. Therefore, even if you do that due diligence and you don't get investment, you have identified things and areas where you can make decisions that will strategically improve your business. And the second thing is, of course, it helps you to know what gaps you have to fill to become attractive to investors. So we talked about two things already. The very first episode, we talked about having the right mindset. You want to attract it, you want to get investment. Do you even have the mindset to have investors on board with you? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, we talked about at the last episode we put out, is having being in the right industry, having the right tailwind behind you. You know, that's extremely important. Sometimes you're in the industry you are in, there's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't mean you can't access financing. No, it just tells you to know that you probably have more work to do because you're swimming against the tides. But at the end of the day, if you do the right things, make the right decisions, you can make the industry work for you. That was the second thing we talked about. Today, we're going to be looking at legal and regulatory requirements. Now, this is a part many people find it very boring. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an authority in this space. So everything I'm saying, take it as an advice, more or less things that I've seen in the last few years or many years that I've been investing in SMEs across the continent. So take those things and see what you can do with them. I think that's the best that we can do here. All right, so let's dive into it. What I'm going to just focus on 4 major areas where you should pay attention to when you are doing a due diligence, a legal and regulatory due diligence on yourself and on your business. The first thing is making sure you have the right business registrations and statutory filings. So the very basic minimum, is your business even registered? I think that's the very first place. And do you have your registration documents with you? If you do not have them, please look for them. And if you have not done so, make sure your business is properly registered. For example, you're operating as a sole proprietorship and you're looking for an equity investment. They will likely want you to be set up as a limited liability company so that they can invest, and get shares in your company. So you want to make sure that you have the right shareholding. You also want to make sure that it's not too complex. I've also seen businesses that their capital structure, their setup structure is overly complex. You have one business owned by this other business, then you and one other person own this business, and then this business owns that business, and then you want the investor to it's just very complex. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. That makes it easier for whoever is looking at your business. They are not asking themselves questions if you are going to be trying to move funds from one entity to another. So keep it simple. I think that's one advice I'll give. And then your statutory filings, basic things like, are you filing your taxes, your VAT? Are you doing those things regularly as you should? I think those are extremely critical things that you need to pay attention to, because they will try to figure out if all your filings are up to date wherever they need to be. So please pay attention to your business registrations and statutory filings. The Eldorado of where you want to be with respect to your business registration and statutory filings is that you want to maintain full compliance and have a proactive process to manage it. Now, that is the end point. That is the creme de la creme. But you might not be there today. You might want to start from somewhere first of all and work your way towards that point. That where you want to be is to have full compliance across board. Everywhere you need to be compliant, you are compliant. Your taxes, you're compliant. Your filings, you're compliant. You need to have NAFDAC registration for your products, they are in place. You need to have a SON certification, it's in place. You need to have an export license, you have it. All the things you need to do. You need to have a permit to be able to do the business that you are doing. The statutory obligations, you have all those things. That is your Eldorado. Very closely linked to this point is the second one, which I already alluded to, is you want to have the right business permits and licenses to operate your business. So you might be registered, your filings are up to date, but are there specific permits and licenses you need to operate that business? There are some that are very obvious. For example, you're producing your manufacturing products. Do you have the NAFDAC certifications for your products? Do you have the SON certification for your plant? You're exporting. Do you have an updated export permit? You're producing some very maybe a niche product inside it that requires certain kind of IP for you to do it. Do you have the licenses? You run a logistics business. All your trucks on the road, are they properly, are their permits and licenses up to date? You understand what I'm saying? And you know what those things are. Let me pause there. I said you know what those things are. Sometimes you probably don't know what you require to do, or you need to do your homework to find out what licenses do I actually need to be able to operate this business that I am in, and do I have all of them in place? The highest point of where you can be on this is that you have all the required licenses and they are renewed on a schedule, and you're doing it proactively. So I want you to go back. I want you to go check all the licenses. Try and do that today, if possible. If not today, do it this week. Just bring out those files. What are all the different licenses and permits that I need to run this business? Are they up to date? If they are not, call your lawyer or somebody who has been helping you to do this and tell them, look, I need to update all these licenses and these permits, or I don't have permit ABC. Help me to get them and put them in place. Just add those things. Then create a simple schedule for yourself so that you have a way to track when it is due for renewal. Things like a trademark, things like your business registrations, all those things. Add the schedule for them so that you can track when they are going to be expiring and you can update them. The third thing, and this one is more for business continuity, do you have the right contract and legal documentation for your business? Right contracts. And contracts are everything from supplier contracts, customer contracts, contracts with even your employees, simple things as employment contracts. Do you have contracts guiding the things that you do? Those contracts need to be in place. And I want you to check, do you have a good practice? And it helps you in the long run. When we get to the financing due diligence, I'm going to talk more about this. The financing section will probably be in 2 installments, because I think there's a lot that we need to delve in, because at the end of the day, we need to know whether your business is making money or not. But when we get there, one of the things you will realize is one of the ways to unlock value, and I've talked about this in some other videos before, is your ability to leverage your contract to negotiate better terms, whether it's in terms of payment terms or credit terms with your customer, payment terms with your suppliers, credit terms with your customers. Contracts are very powerful. Or maybe you export goods. What kind of contracts do you have with the people you export to? Are the terms clearly defined, and are you honoring those contracts as you should? So it's extremely important that you pay attention to all the contracts, because one of the things that the legal person who is doing the due diligence of your business is going to do is going to ask you for all these contracts. They will look at the contract, then they will tie that contract, the information defined in the contract, to the information you have shared to them about the commercial viability of the business. Let me give you a good example. You've said that, I have an amazing list of customers, and as a result, I'm certain that I'm going to be able to sell over the next couple of years, which, for example, an equity investor is interested in. He wants to know if you have that sales locked in for the next couple of years. Now, what we're going to do is to look at that contract and see, number one, do you even have a contract backing what you're saying? And you say, no, we have a verbal contract. They are my long-term customers. I'm not going to be vested on the back of that. At least not most of the time I would not, because it's difficult for me. What if the customer disappears tomorrow or moves on? There's a better supplier somewhere. It's just too risky. But let's assume you have even moved to the next level. You have the contract. I'm not looking at that contract. I'm seeing that the contract expired 6 months ago, or the contract is expiring in 1 month. One of the things I'm asking you is, when are you renewing this contract? Are you renewing it for how long? Is it going to be extended over the next 6 months or 8 months? I'll give you a good example. Although this one is not somewhere in Africa that it happened, it's in the UK. But I know I was very close to the person who was involved in this. They were looking to buy into a protein processing business in London, and the business was in a very prime location, a location that was developed over many years, and they got favorable terms from the council to use that location. Now, when the new investor was about to invest in the business, the first thing he checked was, let me see the lease agreement in place for this location that you are using because it's a prime location, rate very, very affordable, but let me see the lease. Guess what? When they picked up the lease to look at, it was a 15-year lease the company had. The lease was expiring the following week. Now, the owner of the company, a very lovely couple, they were already quite elderly. They found out that the lease was expiring the next week from the investor. So you cannot imagine the position of the investor in that situation, asking himself, what else don't I know about this business and I'm going in? Because the most critical part of this business is this lease, and it's expiring next week. And they were not aware. The deal fell apart because of that reason, and that, and many other things. But that was the primary reason the deal fell apart, because it was too late to negotiate the contract with the council. The council might not renew. Even if they renew, there might be terms that are not favorable. So you want to, before that thing gets to next week, that you want to be 6 months, even 1 year ahead. You're already negotiating the contract. You're negotiating from a position of power. So you want to make sure that somebody's sitting there and looking at those legal contracts on your behalf. The place where you want to be with that is that you maintain standardized, reviewed, and legally vetted contracts at all times. That's the creme de la creme, the El Dorado. Like I said, it's a journey to that point, but start from where you are today. So what's the action point for you? The action point for you today is list all your suppliers, all your contractors, all your customers, your employees. Do you have contracts that backs every one of those relationship up? If not, put them in place. If you do, make sure that they are valid and they have not expired. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is ownership and governance. You won't have clarity on the ownership of your business. I don't want to invest in a business where there's puzzle. Oh, it's owned by me. I own 50%, I own 1%, I own 2%. Who owns the remaining? I don't know. Another major issue that you find is that if there's a PEP, what they call politically exposed people, on your cap table, or in the different terms, politically exposed people that are invested in your business, the chances are high that a lot of investors will back away, because they also want to be careful with regards to who you have in your business. When I say a lot, many investors will still invest, but there are a certain group of investors that will not invest if you have politically exposed people as investors. But you want to clarify the ownership structure. Who are the owners of this business? You say that, there are 3 of us that own the business. Where is the agreement? I want to understand the terms of the agreement that you have, amongst the 3 of you, and ask questions, to who the real owners backing the business, who they are. I want to make sure there are no disputes. You're not taking yourself to court. You're not fighting over ownership. The stakes are clear, rules are well defined, and all those things are in place. These are some of the things that you should pay very serious attention to from a legal point of view, and that the lawyers will be looking at when they want to when you want to review your business. So you can take the lead on that. You can be proactive and go look at your business, go look at all the contracts you need to have in place, the business licenses, the registrations, the permits, the engagements, the ownership structure. Make sure there's clarity, and make sure that you're working every day to maintain the right documents. Keep those documents somewhere safe and secure. If possible, you or have somebody assigned to be checking on all the schedules to make sure that they are up to date as they should for a business to be sustainable. These things look like they are simple, but they are extremely critical for you to be able to attract investors to your business. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. If you found it helpful, if you found it informative, do share with your friends, with other entrepreneurs that you know, and do subscribe to the channel. It does help to extend the reach so that other entrepreneurs can find this video. My name is Deji Adebusoye. I'm a partner at Sayal Capital, and I'm the author of Scaling for Success. Thank you very much. Until next time.